I have a couple properties. I started when I was 23 on my first one, and I just manage them on my own. I'm from California where it's a lot more expensive, and I've always seen how my family grew up, and I'm like, well, how do I create generational wealth and kind of teach my kids how to protect themselves with respect to inflation and that kind of stuff. So I always imagine that I get 10, 20 of these, or so far they've been single family homes, and then I'd eventually 1031 them into a multi-unit. And so on that notion, Jasmine was like, oh, I saw this on Facebook, like, why don't we go to this? You said you want to get into multifamily eventually. So it's the freedom aspect, you know, and it's like, I have a young daughter, she's 2, and I don't care what she wants to be when she grows up. But you have to have that background of, well, it'd be nice if I could be an artist, but if I don't make anything, you know, and I don't know what jobs do and don't, but obviously there are some that do less. And it's like, if that's really something you wanted to pursue, and I could help set my children or grandchildren up to pursue their dreams and not have to worry about the economical structure and burdens, it's like, that's always what I've desired. I don't care about the money. I don't really care how many I own. It's like, what freedom does it provide, or will it provide for me in the future to not have to worry, to not have to think about things? What is Mike able to provide and give? At a bare minimum, it's seeing something in a different way, right? Have you ever seen that shadow concept of the circle versus a square, right? Depending on what angle you shine the light, it's a square on the wall. You shoot it from this side, it's a circle. It's because it's the same object, but you're seeing it from different angles. And it's hitting that from different angles that allows you to have the ability to adapt and change what you're doing. One, if it's not working, or 2, better adhere to your goals and desires. That concept too of like, when you're buying something off of its market price versus adding value to be able to create that wealth versus buying the wealth that's already been created, it's always hard to get in the game, right? So it was interesting to see how he does it, because obviously you can't buy something straight out unless you have enough cash to make it work, where he's buying something and it's only costing 20 million and it's going to be worth 25 or 30. That concept of generating wealth and building it in, and then the tax advantages of how do you protect what you have to pay less so you can keep recycling it forward so that you're not stuck in this like low state of building. It's the opportunity, right? It's the creativity. It's the mind-opening aspect, right? I think a lot of these events, and whether it's Mike or other stuff, it's the networking aspect that you always hear, oh, the wealthy, it's not, you know, they trade time for relationships or these kind of things. They don't just sit on a day job, trade their time for money kind of thing. And it's those core principles of like, you know, the middle class or the poor, they do 2 things. They swap. They take money to pay, or they take time to get money and do that same thing. Well, the wealthy play by different principles. You have opportunity, right? If you only see something one way, it doesn't work. Even at the age of 13, like, I just remember contemplating, even discussing with my family and my mother, how like scared I was to get in the workforce. Not because I didn't want to work, but it was the fear of getting stuck into this rat race that I'd seen my family and my grandparents, like near family, everyone within me, just like stuck on this cycle. And I'm like, holy cow, like this just sounds awful. I think so many people just get stuck living that way. They're not necessarily happy with the job, they didn't think it through, but they got stuck with their lifestyle, whether they've reflected on how to cut costs and things or not. But they're stuck with what they got, and they're like, well, I have to go here to keep this, and there's no way for me to downgrade, and that's a whole different conversation. But that sense of like, okay, I'm not happy with where I'm at, so I can just get up and go and do something else because I don't have to worry about those burdens. We've been in other ones where we spent money to be involved, and the content was good and it was okay, but it was no more different than what I've already asked. Just along the lines of like my background, I'm an engineer, I have a master's degree from the U, and then I still do that full time, but I have my real estate license on the side, and then I property manage my own properties. And so I got involved with, you know, I think a lot of realtors, they think, oh, you know, I'm going to do this, be successful, I'm an investor. And it's like, no, it's a day job. And like, I wasn't trying to trade my engineering for real estate. It's like, I was trying to figure out how do I surpass engineering? How do I do something different? to where I get to wake up and do engineering, but I can also wake up any moment in my life and be like, I don't have to do this anymore if I don't want to, you know? And it's like I became an engineer because I liked understanding the world around me and I wanted to know how to build and create. So it was that concept of like, how do you take something further to protect yourself and protect your family for longevity?